So just know that you're live now, and there's people probably going to be paying attention.
Thousands.
Yes, millions, in fact.
Millions. Oh yeah, I got to bring up the YouTube so I can see the chat.
I see us now. Top chat. What happened to the chat? It's way down there. It's like popped out. How do I get it back? Well, first of all, I got to get it logged in as me.
YouTube.
Okay, going back now. Here we go. Where's the chat?
Oh, the logo is being overlapped by Tim's video, just FYI.
Oh, that's no good. We better fix that before the show starts.
Yeah, push me behind the logo.
Tim.
Wait, does anybody know? Did the chat
you got
break?
Us on.
What's it? Brian locked up again.
I locked up?
Oh, that's usually me.
Yeah.
If Skype dies, I'm going on my laptop.
Hey, Mr. Peabody. I wish I could see the chat.
Probably have it in the big view, right?
Yeah, probably.
The theater mode or whatever it is. You can just click to get out of that. It should be labeled like default view.
Over
bottom right.
Bottom right. Pop out chat. I didn't know you could do that.
You can do that, yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, yep, nice. You fixed the logo. Looking nice.
That's interesting.
Test.
You logged in as YouTube
Sean
as somebody
Sproul.
else.
Do we know who Sean Sproul is?
That's not him. That's me.
Hi, Sean.
No, Tim Sean.
We're on like a 10-second delay for our profanities.
Yo. I don't.
Okay.
Mark, I'm going to let you do the scoring tonight because I think my chat is behind.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Are you ready for the... Hey, what's going on? We're going to have to ban Randy for his sexual innuendo. It's not even sexual innuendo. He's just being sexual.
I don't even know what that means. Is that a quote or something?
I don't know.
Googling it.
I like the girls. The girls I like.
It's the Gleaming Spires.
Hey, Randy, did you get your gift today? Finally? After weeks of waiting? All right. You guys, I suppose we're sort of on time.
Kind of.
Season 4. This would be our 4th year.
That's not right. We're on time.
They freeze
Wait
up
a minute.
again.
Wait a minute. We had 1 year, and then we had 2 years, and then we had a 3rd year. So I think that means
This is the beginning.
Now I'm me. Much better.
I mean, it's been 3 years since the first episode, but
this is so confusing.
because we weren't 0 years. I mean, we were.
All right, let's do this. Right? Is everyone okay? Has everybody got their seatbelts on? Brian's locked up again.
There he
I
is.
keep freezing. Can you hear me, though?
Yeah,
You
I can
sound
hear
great.
you fine.
Yeah, your audio never goes away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good, because I know how to talk.
Yeah. Yes, you do. And with that, here we go.
The first time I saw Nibbler, I walked in the arcade down at Twin Galaxies, and Tomasaki was playing it. He was the current world record holder at the time. I'd never met Tom, never seen him. I was watching him for a little while, and there's probably 4 or 5 people standing around, and I didn't realize why everybody was watching him at first. I didn't really grasp how far he was into the game. I just did a quick glance, and it looked like 700,000. What's the big deal? He's got 700 million. Now, me being me, I made the comment, well, it doesn't matter what he's got. When he's done, I'll just wipe it off anyway.
Live from KOL
Damn kids.
Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Arcade Radio.
Hello, Commander. Computer reporting.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Simulate opponent.
Hello, and welcome to Season 4 premiere. This is the premiere episode. That means episode 1 of Season 4 of the Arcade Radio podcast. Today is Thursday, October 17th, 2019, and the time is approximately 7:20 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining us in the Arcadosphere. This is your host, Professor Adam Stevens. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Mark Time Runner Shields, Paradise Arcade Shop proprietor and master of all he surveys, Brian Thurston Howell III. And tonight, wait. We also have with us special guest host, Tim McVeigh. Thanks for joining us. And tonight, the esteemed guest of Arcade Radio's one and only podcast. And the reason why we're emphasizing all the S's, which I wasn't, this has something to do with the Bozeman think tank, a group who sought to systematically examine the logic of Miss Pac-Man. This is also the first player to attempt a billion-point game on Nibbler, former scientist at Los Alamos something or another, and now a professor at mathematics. I mean, it just says Los Alamos.
You said it well.
Yeah, because, it's in Los Alamos. I should have proofread this or something. Anyway, and now a professor of mathematics and physics at Washington State University. A round of applause for Mr. Tomasaki. Yeah, welcome to the show,
Dr. Tom.
Dr. Tomasaki. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. That's the first episode.
Fanciest introduction ever.
It's live radio. We like to be, just. I was wondering what all the S's were for, and then I was thinking maybe I should do it at a different voice. This is why we should have meetings. We don't have meetings.
Well, I thought you read the show notes at least once. But the fun part is that I took all of that stuff from the Nibbler website.
That's
the Man vs. Snake website, rather.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Completely ripped off.
Supercilious scoundrel.
That's funny. That clip you played was that sound clip.
Yeah.
It was the piece of the whole story that I don't even remember, of course, because I was playing the game when Tim walked in.
That's funny. You're a little bit occupied.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, Tom was also in Man vs. Snake, which is one of the reasons Tim's here tonight. So he can grill Tom about whether or not he was lying in the movie.
Yeah, rightfully so, though. Nobody remembers that I'm in the movie. Right?
What's so funny, I met you at Greenfest last weekend, and I walked up, and here's this guy playing Nibbler. And I thought, wow, he's got 700 million. No, I'm not, just kidding. So I was like, he was doing really well. And I'm like, wow, you're clearly better at this game than I am. And I don't remember, Heather, you said that somebody had made this, they had this ludicrous score that they stood there all day for. And they didn't really believe that Tom could be any better than he was at the game. So why don't you go ahead and tell us why you guys were playing that game?
We were just watching this guy that was playing, and Tom was kind of thinking about going to play a little bit just to roll his lives, just for fun, I guess. And this other guy that was checking everybody's scores walks up and he says, "Oh, he's been playing for hours. He's good." And I said to Tom, that's like somebody coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I can do calculus."
So, for those of us that don't know, what is rolling your lives? Did you say?
Oh yeah. So so the story though is this guy he probably spent 8 or 10 hours there. He got 194 million points.
It's pretty good.
And, I don't know. It's kind of slow, but
it is slow. I know because I die at like 198 points.
That's fast.
And I thought there's a little piece of me that says you should put your own score, beat that score, but it's going to take me some hours to do it, and so I didn't really want to, but I just felt compelled to roll the lives, and so what that means is I don't know, you get 129-ish lives or somewhere up there, and the game counts that as 0 lives, pretty much.
Oh.
And so if you die when you get up there, your game's over. It's just done, right? And so I hadn't done that in a while, so I spent 3.5 hours to do that.
Trivial pursuits. I mean, it's kind of fun.
It's like riding a bike, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So you guys are telling me that during the marathoning session, you have to be careful not to exceed 129 lives.
Yeah, you don't want to get 129. That's too many.
Okay.
You're already done at that point.
So I had 130 when I died this last weekend or this other weekend.
So
it was just last weekend.
Yeah.
Have either of you...
Did you kill it, or was it an accident?
Oh, I killed it because this guy that Heather was talking about, who didn't believe me, we called him over so he could see this happen.
Hey, watch this.
So to convince him that I actually know what I'm doing.
That's funny. That's funny.
Wayne was there too. So.
By the way, I was in a movie about Nibbler. Just so you know. Plus I beat your score like in 1982.
Well, so this guy actually said to us, "Oh yeah, there was a chat when Tim hit the billion, and then they showed the chat room, and they said something about the chat is blowing up in the movie, and that was my message that they showed in the movie. So I was in the movie, and I'm like, so is he.
That's hilarious. The chat is blowing up.
He was like, "Oh, were you one of those guys at the end?" No.
Not very observant.
Oh.
I had more hair then, so
yeah, he had more hair. He had the mustache.
I did like the drawing of you. It ended up being the ad on Facebook. It's just your glasses and your 2 little hairs on your lip. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's me.
And I showed him that cartoon on my phone. I said, "This is him," and he's like, "Oh, like he didn't."
Looks just like me.
This whole movie exists because of him.
It kind of does. I mean,
oh, it does.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it's true. I came to Ottumwa with all of the skills and knowledge to do this. I never did it, but Tim brought in the next level, and he actually did it.
Tim just had the natural talent and gall.
Tim didn't have a life. He just lived at the arcade and kept playing the stupid thing.
But inspiration, too.
Oh, yeah. Tom is definitely an inspiration. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool to meet him, and he was one of the nicest people I ever met back in the day. And I can remember at least one of his visits where him and I played for a while, and we just kind of traded off. One of us would get tired playing it and walk away, and the other one would jump on and play for a while. And I think Walter made 25 cents that day.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's how we went out of business.
You guys are the reason Twin Galaxies shut down. Yeah, that's good.
Burned
All right,
more than
well,
that electricity.
Normally we have a segment on the show where we talk about what we've been working on. Let's do that really briefly so we can get on to the next thing, which is the news. Mark, what have you been working on? What have you been doing for the last 6 weeks? We missed you.
Done so much stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I took my van to Florida. And,
Uncle Rico's van.
Uncle Rico's van.
Yep.
And the guy who plays Uncle Rico, John Grease, and the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Gardner Minshew, made a segment. It was on ESPN. Total trip, and I'm getting a check from Disney. That is like, my lifelong dream for Disney to give me back money. I love it.
So you are officially a cast member?
I was even in the video. There's a part where he's talking to Minshew, and then they needed it to end, so they needed somebody to say that there was the orange van was getting towed.
Okay. Well, that's great.
So I volunteered Bob Zarzadek to say that. And
incidentally, the same actor was also in the movie Joysticks as the lead punk rocker.
Oh yeah,
cool.
John Grease has been in so much stuff. Yeah. Real genius, just tons of things.
Yeah, real genius. Mentioned that a few times on the show. What are you doing, Brian? Are you sexting? What are you doing?
I'm talking in the chat. I just could.
What have you been? Well, Mark, that's not all you've been working on. You collected a few things too, right?
Well, okay, so I'll skip over to the good stuff. I got an Atari Pong like 3 days ago for $250. It's so awesome. A guy that runs gambling machines here in Texas. There's actually like a weird loophole where you can have 4 gambling machines and the police look it over. They just are like, as long as you don't have 5. Anyway, they had this Pong in the corner, and he just decided he didn't know how to do it, or he didn't know what to do with it, and so I got it, and It's working. The monitor is like totally, sloshed, but so that's my next restore for sure.
Fantastic, Brian.
It's great.
Let's see what I've been working on. We had Red Bull by the shop for they're touring the country with some pro gamers for the fighting game circuit. And so they were doing kind of interesting different things around the Twin Cities. And so they came by the shop and the guys played some games, hung out, sat down, played on our Japanese cabinets. So we had some fun with that. I picked up way too many games to count, but picked up a Super Cobra track and field cocktail and kind of got this bulk buy of like 13, 14 games, all of which I expected not to work, and all but like 2 of them worked.
Whoa.
Nice.
And so it was kind of like plugging in the track and field cocktail, which had no plug on it. The plug had been torn off. So, instead of actually hooking a plug up, I just decided to shove the wires into the outlet, kind of
Oh my
ghetto style.
God.
Go, all right, let's see if this thing goes.
Wow.
And it went. So,
You're so lucky. You're so lucky.
I got very lucky with this buy, actually.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I've been playing with is I've been taking M92 boards, which are the golf game Major Title 2, and playing around with converting them. There were a number of different games done on the M92 system, including R-Type Leah and Ninja Baseball Batman. And so I had found a couple of Major Title 2 boards, didn't really like Major Title 2, so now I have R-Type Leo and Ninja Baseball Batman.
Nice.
Crazy.
Well, I got a free Centipede.
Uh-huh.
Well, it
Great price.
It wasn't really free, but it was very, very inexpensive. Steve Murky, shout out. Thanks for tipping me off. And I rebuilt the power supply, rebuilt the power brick, got a new board set for it because the other one was fried, and I'm going to figure out how to fix it someday. But so I have a working Centipede right next to my Millipede, which is kind of fun. But I already had a Centipede, just a little one. So now I have the big one. So, yeah, feel good about that. Also got, what else did I get? Oh yeah, I've been working on Defender. I'm converting it back from a switching power supply where they cut off the header and.
Oh, that's uncouth.
So I'm rebuilding the linear, and I'm gonna put it back to the way it was supposed to be, and it's all for that stupid, dumb NVRAM save your score crap that I wanted to work. So switching power supplies and NVRAM modifications don't work very well together. So I'm going to make it original. And then, so I had a lot of powder coating, all that stuff. And Journey is back on track. I found a new powder coater that was recommended to me. So I'm going to bring some stuff over to them and see how they do and see if they can fix that Journey control panel so I can put it together. That's what I've been working on. Tim, you got it? What are you doing?
I always feel bad when this segment hits.
Well, you got to
I'm not
talk
working
about
on
your
cool
gaming.
stuff
You were
like
just
you guys
going to...
haven't scored anything cool like you guys have.
Oh, come on. But you've been leveling
How
up.
about a vacation or something?
He's been leveling up.
I've been playing the crap out of Diablo 3. Me
There
and
you
Tina. We've been having fun with Season 18. It's one of the first seasons we've really just got into and really put some time into. I was looking last night, and my main character I've got 110 hours into, and I was like, whoa, put a little bit of time into it this season. And we've just been having fun playing that. And old computer stuff. I put together a machine. I'm going to make a PF Sense firewall for my network, and I've got the machine built, and I've just got to sit and play with the software and get it all sorted out. But nothing arcade related, unfortunately.
I'm going to mute Brian. What happened to the...
Get that noisy keyboard
What
going?
happened to the microphone I bought you? Where is it?
The microphone is right here.
It's not turned
It's
on.
the right mic.
You're talking
It is.
through... No, you're not. You're talking through your headphones. I guarantee
My headphones
it.
don't have a mic.
What's that little thing on your necklace? Looks like it.
No.
Yeah. Never mind. You're just loud. You're just loud.
It says I'm using the blue ball.
Oh, you got blue ball? You got a.
That's too funny. I'm glad I got a Yeti.
All right, Tom. What have you been working on? You've been working on moving those games around, or what's going on?
That's pretty much it. I'm still though. Gosh, Tim, I'm still waiting for you to put up a Robotron score. Whatever happened to that?
Procrastination.
Not on
a lot
your
of procrastination.
I love it when you get people that are competitive in a room and they immediately start smacking each other down.
Well, what happened with my Robotron was it's the J-Rock board, and Mark Hoff came up to change a ROM set for Dwayne when Dwayne came down, and he wiped the board. So I had to hunt down some ROMs. There's a master image, I guess, that you can get that puts all the ROMs back on the system, but I can't find it. Nobody seems to have it where I can get a copy. So I was hunting ROMs for a while. I got most of them back, and I don't know. I just haven't put any time into playing it yet. But hey, winter's coming, and that works for me really well. I've got the week of Thanksgiving off, and then I've got all of Christmas and New Year's off. So I'm sure there'll be some scores coming at some point.
I do have one thing going though. A while back, Heather bought me a Miss Pac-Man board.
Nice.
And so now my next goal is to finally, after 30 years or whatever it's been, to hit the kill screen on Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, you're just finishing all kinds of bucket list items, aren't you?
No.
I'm glad that's not on my bucket list, because I would probably die before
Tom
it
started.
happened.
I mean, he started the Nibbler thing and got the movie going, and before he started Nibbler, he had the Bozeman think tank and the Miss Pac-Man stuff going, and he kind of set other people up multiple times. I took off and ran with Nibbler, and the stuff he showed down at Ottumwa, Chris Ira and Billy Mitchell kind of took off with on Miss Pac-Man.
Sure.
So Tom came out with all these, I don't know what you call it, this knowledge of these games that nobody else had.
He's the brains.
And he made the mistake of sharing it with us.
He's the brains behind the brawn.
He was, definitely.
Well, okay. Well, let's move on to the next segment, which everybody loves, and that is.
Good evening. The Arcade News, arcades, pinball, industry alumni, arcade openings, collecting, celebrities, world record holders, operators, coin-op, conventions, new products and gadgets, gamers. The Arcade News.
I'm Brian McLeod.
I'm Adam Stevens.
We interrupt the ventilated...
And now, the Arcade News with Brian McLeod.
Welcome to the Arcade News. We have a couple of stories for you tonight. First one is actually a local one. There's a gentleman who is charged, I don't know if gentleman's kind of a term used loosely, for threatening to shoot up a movie theater in Minnesota after losing money in an arcade game. He said he put $20 into the machine and only got $2 worth of games to work.
I feel like I've heard this
the
story
manager
before.
And said he would, quote, shoot this bitch up.
Whoa.
Wow.
We don't talk like that in Minnesota.
Here's the kicker. Like, so you threaten the manager calls the police, right? And so the police show up and you're like, I didn't do that, right? No. He then says to the police, people who don't give your money back should be shot.
Wow.
Minnesota.
It's Minnesota nice right there.
Winter is coming.
Yes, it is.
How stark.
So, anyways, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, the theater gave him $6 back and said they don't own the arcade, so they can only give them back. I don't know. If the guy came up to me and told me he was going to shoot stuff, I'd probably hand him 20 and ask him to leave. But, anyways.
Well, aren't you going to ask anybody else what they think of that story?
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think about it?
I mean, Tim.
Makes me not want to run an arcade or anything, that's for sure.
I do the same thing. No.
You do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot this. No, I wouldn't say that. But I'm kidding. Levity. Okay.
Well, I mean, so the kind of funny thing about it is, like, they're saying like you lost $20 in an arcade. You don't really, or whatever. You never really gain money in an arcade, right? I mean,
yeah, this isn't Vegas.
Yeah, you're losing money regardless of what happens. So
I think after
anyways.
I lost a few dollars putting coins in, I'd stop.
Yeah,
either that or get better at the game, right?
But you also wouldn't tell the police that you thought committing a crime was appropriate when they showed up either.
Probably not. No, we were even smarter than that when we were teenagers, I believe.
So, anyways, so he faces 5 years of prison and or a $10,000 fine, which is going to put him down even further than $20 in the hole.
I lost
Wow.
$10,000 in an arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. What's $10,000 in an arcade? I mean, I have that in my back pocket.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was like a crane machine or something. So, moving on, less arcade related, but more snake related, and then we'll have a snake and arcade related kind of one. The largest known snake lives in a haunted house that is in England. It's a reticulated python that the last time they measured was 25 feet 2 inches long, and it's the largest captive snake. Or named the largest captive snake in 2011. It takes 30 people to hold the snake, and it takes days, as they said, to measure it properly. And according to the article, which is in the Metro County, UK website, I'm citing my source, Adam.
Thank you.
So it takes so long to measure the snake that they really just don't measure it that often because it's too time consuming. So I don't know if anybody wants to do a field trip to the UK and help hold the snake to get a true measurement. The Halloween attraction is open until November 2nd. You can go see it.
How heavy did that snake weigh? Did you?
I don't remember offhand if it said.
It's at 350 pounds.
Yeah,
Correct.
350. That's it.
That's it. Insane.
In the membrane.
And finally, a snake and arcade little tidbit. For those of you who remember April Fool's last year, you could play Snake on Google Maps.
Yep.
Well, you can play Snake on Google Maps now just by taking snake.googlemaps.com. And you can play Snake in all the major cities that you'd like to.
And that's news. Is that news?
Well, I don't know. That's like a product news and whatever. It's interesting. I found it interesting.
I thought we were talking about like
in San Francisco.
The Star Wars 1-Up is shipping now.
It is shipping, and actually, I was talking to somebody who had gotten direct feedback on it, and they said they were actually pretty impressed with the quality of the build. They had a real Star Wars and actually the Star Wars 1-Up, and said that it was better feeling than they thought it was going to be. So the one that I had felt where the flight controller felt not optimal may have just been because a couple thousand people had messed with it at the convention I was at.
Sure. Well, it may have been.
Kind of makes you leery of how long it's going to hold up, though.
True.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're definitely consumer-based units, right? I mean, they're not commercial by any means.
Well, the other thing that I think is interesting, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there's been a large uptick in 1-Ups on marketplaces.
Oh my gosh.
Can't imagine that.
It's really annoying. So all these people are like, I want that, and they buy it. And then a few months later, they're like, I don't want this in my living room.
Hey, it's better than all the arcade games that were, upgraded to a 60-in-1.
That's true. At least they just bought one.
That's the funny thing with the arcade 1-Ups now. The big thing to do with them is upgrade them. In fact, there's even a Tron conversion kit for your 1-Up arcade on Amazon with a Tron-like control panel and a joystick and a spinner and everything else. I mean, people are spending more money on the upgrades.
Yep.
And upgrading
what they did on the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are the same era as me. I remember in high school, people would buy this Dodge Omni for $200 and then drop $20,000 into the
That
thing.
wasn't me.
Mostly in the stereo.
Yeah. Well, everything on those. It was insane what they do to those things. I'm like, why don't you just buy a nice car to start? No, that's not the point. Okay. So, but that's all I've got for the news.
Oh, well. Oh.
It's fun to play for the first 20 minutes, and then it's not so fun.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Back to the cave with Time Runner.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Why, yes, there is, Doc. Oh, let me continue. So I have a link that will lead to a news segment. It's actually a series of news segments. So, Adam, I need you to watch
Yeah.
At 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
You'll have to stop the video.
Okay.
So we're gonna listen in. This is a 1982 ABC News Channel 7 Los Angeles news segment covering the video game industry. So I thought what would be interesting is before we do what's in the juke, we could like listen to an old news article and then kind of remark about how dumb it was, or maybe insightful.
Okay. Here's the first one.
Well, video games fever has prompted a number of businesses to try to cash in on that billion-dollar craze. Book publishers and even movie producers are trying to make video games pay off for them. We go inside a video games factory and learn just how others are making their share of the big money as we continue our special service Video Fever, games people play.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Perfect.
All right. I'm not hearing it very well. So as long as everybody else is here, you want me to continue to play this segment?
Yeah, but did you jump to 245?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually meant you to cut it off at 245. But let's keep going. We at the next week we'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for the end.
All right.
Like these video game books, How to Win Video Games, The Secret of Video Game Superstars. The video game industry has now even given birth to its own motion picture, Tron, where a young computer genius is trying to break into a massive computer system.
Because, man, somewhere in one of these memories is the evidence.
So the young computer genius tries and gets zapped by a ray gun right into the machine and onto the computer-generated game grid to meet characters who are alter egos of their creators and to a place where, according to the movie ads, love and escape do not compute. Naturally, there is a Tron machine on the market now, 4 games in 1, ray guns and all.
If there's been a mistake, I gotta see the guy in charge.
You will. In terms of the arcade video game, the guy in charge is not in Hollywood. Tron's big brother is in suburban Chicago at the Valley Corporation's Midway plant. Here they are turning out Tron games as fast as they can. These workers are under so much pressure, company executives asked us not to spend too much time shooting the factory for fear it would slow the workers.
I'm gonna take a tip and not play the rest of the clip because it looks like it goes on for quite a while.
It doesn't actually. They're like 2 minutes each.
Oh well, this
but
one.
That's a good stop. That's a perfect stop.
Yeah. So we want to discuss this now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's kind of funny we picked this one because first of all, I thought all those how-to books are hilarious and I love them.
Yes.
And then it's topical because we were just talking about Tron. So Bally cranking out hundreds, thousands of Tron machines. Quite impressive.
Don't bother the workers so they can go faster.
Right. I've seen some of these videos. They're amazing where they have like the whole assembly line and there's just a set of people that all they do is put tie wraps on wires. You know,
right. That's your job.
You're
the tie wrap guy.
Yeah.
And then the next guy is the guy that screws in the little rubber things that you put your hands in to hold the machine.
And then there's the guy that is putting in the monitor. And then the person that tests the monitor. And
right.
The last person that tests all the function of the control panel, that control panel expert, I think they're called.
Oh, I've heard of those.
I know a few of those.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shoot. I didn't even check to see.
They estimate that there are 10,000 of them sold.
Trons?
10,000?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's impressive. That's actually how I met Adam.
Yeah.
I bought his Tron.
I've had 3 Trons.
You have.
Yeah. So that's cool.
It was, it's funny because it is really, I mean, I know it's obvious, but like they say in the segment, like it's a multi-game. And I didn't really think of it. It's Tron, but it is a multi-game.
Yeah, that's actually the reason. So when I first started collecting, Tron was my first game, and I chose it because I wanted a game that had more than one game in it. And I didn't want to put like a multi thing in yet. And that was more difficult back when I started in 05. So
the old
or 02.
days.
02 actually.
Oh my.
I remember, so I picked up my Tron, it was like the old, it's a broken fuse, and it was a broken fuse. Somebody was selling it cheap right when I got back from residency from Hawaii. And I remember sliding out there with a friend of mine, getting it, bringing it back, and we had all these arcade games in a row in the shop. And like separating them a little bit so Susan wouldn't notice that I'd bought the Tron and sliding it right into the middle of a row.
Nice.
Wow.
It's like you can't hide a
tuck
Tron.
that in the middle there.
Yeah, there's no way to hide a Tron cabinet. It's like bright fluorescent everything.
Well, there's not now because I just said on the air what I did. Could get in trouble for something that happened 5 years ago now.
She's not in earshot. I think it'll take a while before she watches this episode.
Yeah.
Sure. You hear a 10-second time delay. Hey!
Oops. We don't have a dump button. I'm sorry.
No. Well, I do.
Wait, but you better be editing this one real quick and get
It's a different kind of dump.
version.
It's a different kind of dump. Oh my God!
I have a question.
You do?
Yeah. What's in the juke?
What's in the juke?
Is it over? What?
All right. So, Mark, why don't you tell us what we're doing? And
Well, we're going to play a few songs, just little clips, and our listeners in the chat room will try to guess the title of the song and the artist. If you guess one of them, you'll get half a point.
Half point.
If you guess both, you will get a full point.
Full point.
And there might be fighting.
Half
Oh, yeah.
point. Again.
So, and we go in the order that we see the final chat appear. So if you say something and it looks like you said something for somebody else, you may have not done that because of the way it all works on YouTube. So we've got the final say on this side. There may be prizes. I'm not sure.
tonight we're playing for the glory of the win.
The glory of love.
Glory of love.
Yes. Peter Cetera will go to your house and give you a pat on the back.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
No,
Everybody's
I don't think
who's that?
Yeah. Cash prizes coming up someday in the future.
Yes.
Maybe
I have many quarters left over.
Maybe
from
just prizes. I mean, I could make up some prizes right now, but I'm not going to. Tonight's just for fun.
For
All
fun.
Right. So, okay, here we go. We're going to play a clip, right? And then you guys try to guess what's going on. There's
oh my God, that's all you're playing.
Well, I mean, I would get it. Somebody's gonna get it.
There's no way.
Oh yeah, you can get that one.
Car
See,
wash.
there's a song.
There you go. Randy's got car wash.
Yes.
Yeah. It just does that repeatedly.
Not Fogarty.
The original. That's so nuts.
It's such an awesome song, actually.
It sounds almost as fun as listening to Nibbler for 24 hours sometime.
Well, Randy, we're going to give you a
half point.
And we're going to move on to the next track. That was Rolls Royce with Car Wash. All right, here we go.
Nice.
Here's another piece of trivia for this song. This artist is a nominee for this year's induction into the Hall of Fame.
True story.
Nice.
No kidding.
Get it on. It's Randy again, is it not?
Yep, Mike Page got the artist.
Mike Page with the artist. So we got an even split, right?
Half point.
Half point for... Yeah. And half
point.
Okay, good. All right, and that was Bang a Gong, Get It On is the full title by T-Rex. And hopefully, I think it's the second time he's been nominated. Hopefully he gets in this time. Okay, here comes another one.
That's a tougher one.
It is.
I don't know if I would have got it from that clip.
Oh, look, Casey's here. Casey's here.
That's not even possible. He hasn't been here I don't believe you.
He's here. And of course,
He got
right
this-
on.
Yeah, song and artist. Good job.
Wow. Crank
I
that.
definitely wouldn't have got that.
Welcome back, Casey. I mean,
Hey, Chris.
Welcome back, Cotter.
See, my buddy Chris Long jumped on just a little bit late for that one.
All right. So the next track. So that was "Stuck in the Middle with You" by Steelers Wheel, and the next track is this one. There's no clapping.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, there's the artist. Randall got the artist on my
Billy
screen.
Joel. I didn't play
That's the song.
Half point.
And only the good.
Oh, Casey got it.
Only the Goo Der Young.
We know what point. Oh man, the goo.
Only the Goo Der Young. Mr. Magoo. Okay, here we go. This is. Oh wait, I can't skip this one. So that was Only the Good Die Young, Billy Joel.
I would have got this one already.
Peace.
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue.
Casey got the artist.
Steve Miller Band.
And the song.
Takawa the Amunamu
Well,
and Run.
Do we take points off or partial points off for spelling here?
Not
He's
usually.
going as fast as he can.
He's
I have to give it to him.
Takwa.
We know what he's talking
the Amoni and Run. Takwa the Amoni. Takwa the Amoni.
Taco.
That's very
Takwa.
funny. Picking up Pakala show. Okay.
Half point.
For wait, no, he gets a
Full point.
for that whole
Full point. Yes.
Okay, that was the Steve Miller Band.
He's on a strange keyboard tonight.
With
there
a-
you go.
Yeah.
With a Takwa
It's an Italian keyboard.
and take the money and run. Oh.
Two young lovers with nothing better to do.
Where's the clapping?
What are you talking about?
And here's what happened when they decided to cut loose.
I'm gonna get banned again. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
John Cougar. That is actually correct. John Cougar, Casey, and
It's
Jack
not
and
what
Diane.
your show notes say.
I don't. Does he have different show notes? I don't.
Mr. Peabody is the first one that mentioned the last name. I think we're gonna have to give
actually,
it to
no.
him.
It is only John Cougar. There's not Mellencamp on that one. That was on American Fool, which was before. Isn't it before he changed his name to Mellencamp?
I don't know. I'm just going by your show notes.
Yeah, I pulled that off of the off of a YouTube video, so it could be wrong.
That is wrong. It's John Cougar.
Okay.
Yep. So Casey is correct on both counts and for a full point.
Full point.
Pulling ahead.
Pulling ahead. He was behind.
That's right.
I didn't even know. That's pretty funny. Wait a second.
Wait, you skipped a couple.
I did? Oh, I did.
Yeah.
No, I skipped one. I'll go back. All right.
Okay.
Skip 2.
I skipped one because I removed it, so we'd only have 10.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh.
But it's okay.
I'll strike it.
All right. Not Prince, but good guess. Private Eyes is correct, Casey, with the first half of that. And Brian Frober with half point for Hall & Oates. Is that right?
That's correct. Hall
Half
Nad
point.
Oates.
What's that? Hall and half point Oates. That's right. Yeah, so we did Jack and Diane and John and we did Private Eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of people that thought that song Jack and Diane was dirty.
What?
A little story about jacking Diane.
Oh, yeah.
People read into a lot of stuff, don't they?
They're
Yeah.
disgusting.
Little Ditty, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, Little Ditty.
Okay.
I get it.
The little diddle. Okay, here we go.
1, 2, 3,
God.
my baby don't mess around.
I do not know that one at all.
What is that?
I did not take it out.
More modern.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around. All right, now, fellas. Yeah. I am your neighbor.
Oh, hey, Outcast. Both of them, Casey got both of those, right?
Wow.
Yep, he sure did.
All right.
He is a machine.
So, Casey with 900 and everybody else with half a point. Okay. Here comes the next track. That's all I'm playing. I'm not playing.
That's enough.
Wow.
Queen.
Oops, Steve Take.
We will.
Well,
Steve Take got the artist and half of the name. We should give him a quarter point. It's like we'll give Steve Take 3/4 of a point.
Okay. Wow. And so what, we gave Casey the other quarter?
Yeah, Casey gets another quarter.
All right.
yeah, because he needs it.
Something must be done to stop Casey.
Don't say that. We want him to come back. He's a savant with this stuff.
I love it.
All right. Okay.
We're almost near the end here.
Okay, yes. So this track is this. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait, this isn't the right version.
No, it's not.
I don't know what that is.
I will tell you in a minute when I'm not about to reveal it to everybody.
Mute.
Let me just get the right track. Okay. Yeah, because, we just like to have a little bit of, dead air right here.
Dead.
I can't believe that. Okay, here we go.
There you
Better.
go. Much better.
And just for fun, I'll play the other one while that one's being murdered. That's a Go-Go's, and it is
Wrong song.
not We Got the Beat. It is not We Got the Beat. But you're close.
Brian Frober got it.
Brian Frober gets half a point.
Full
And
point.
so does Randy.
Half point. Oh, Randy got that.
And Randy got a
that.
half point. All right.
Half point.
And so the other track was... So, same writer, Jane Weedlin, different group. It's a Fun Boy 3 version.
Ugh.
Much
oh my
different.
gosh.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Is that
So
from the 80s?
yeah, it's from the 80s. It's like 1980. Yeah. I'll play one more. Just for fun because it
Go-Go's
has.
have that as a cover? I can't believe it.
Well, it's not a cover. Jane Weedlin wrote it. So.
Okay.
She was in the Go-Go's, so yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
All right, here we go.
That's my favorite song.
Well, I love a rainy night.
I added that because I had the clapping.
I love it.
And the snapping.
That's a good call.
Casey Relford, Randy Gelking, split for 1/2 each. Right? Is that what I'm reading?
Half point.
I see
right.
Casey said, yeah. Casey got the title first and Randy got
Well,
the title.
congratulations, Kelsey. All right. Haven't talked to him.
This math is difficult with the quarter points and
the quarter points. Let's see carry the one up.
Well, we could have
Casey
went with
won.
fractions. The decimal.
I feel like I should send Casey something because it's the first time he's played in forever, and there's no prizes now.
well, today, yeah. Man,
let me see.
Okay, so and the first person that says what all these had in common, not that Adam mentioned it, but let's see who can type it out fastest.
Yeah, what these? Oh, that's a good idea. You have a theme, and then you.
Yeah, you'll get a full point if you can get this.
And then it's a time. It's a tiebreaker. Yeah.
Sure, except for Casey killed it.
Yeah.
No, not 1981.
Not with Outcast. That's for sure.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not immediately obvious because we didn't play the entire songs up to the point where...
Well, all of them had it except for like one in this particular case. Well, two.
Mostly 80s music.
Yeah. Mostly 80s. That's astute. Well, why don't you tell him, Mark? Tell him what the commonality was there.
The commonality is that well, they're still thinking. I like Randy's like, Oh, Casey got it.
Jeez.
Hand claps.
Again, should
have. Right.
Good job, Casey.
We should get Zarzadek to record Casey's outgoing message on his cell phone or something.
Wow.
As a gift.
Casey
As a gift.
Killed it with 6.75 points.
Wait a minute. He should only have
looks
a
like
quarter.
Randy came in second with 2.5, and Brian Foper with 1. Steve Taki with 0.75, and Mike Page pulling on the rear at 0.5.
Thank God I didn't have to send anything to Canada today.
All right.
Brian Fober asked if the clap was a...
Yeah.
You guys are close enough. You can just deliver it personally, right?
Right. Okay, so...
Interview! Oh, wait, unless you have a voicemail. I don't know.
I don't see any. Do we?
I don't do voicemails.
You do have a voicemail.
Oh, I didn't see it in the show notes. Oh,
Uh-oh.
because it's
See it in the Facebook chat.
It's spontaneous. It's full of spontaneity.
Is it?
How much have I had to drink anyway? Like a whole glass of
I don't know.
water?
Do you feel sleepy? Tell me now.
Touche.
Desk.
Oh my God. We shall never speak of that. Okay.
You are very kind for bringing it up at Grinkers. That was nice. I didn't know how to approach the subject, so.
Thank you. Oh, all right. Oh no, this ought to be good. We do have a call. Let me see if I can bring it up here.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey, Arcade Radio Siders. It's your buddy, Bob Zarzadek, control panel expert and technician. I can't believe I missed your season finale episode with Mr. Nolan Bushnell, but I heard it was a real snoozer. I love getting a good nap in between important events. So I've been keeping busy here in Jacksonville, Florida, helping people with orange vans from getting towed. Let's see what else. I've been playing Man vs. Snake a lot, only out in the wild, and in real life, but mostly in my bedroom. Wait, no. I know what you're thinking, and you're pervert. You know what? I'm hanging up. This is going too far. You think about what you've done. Where's your dick out?
Wow.
Wow.
Jeez Louise. That guy's upset.
I think I'm gonna joke. Oh boy. Okay, moving on.
The whole idea of marathoning Nibbler was my idea. I mean, I was the first guy who actually tried it.
Right. Maybe I'll play that clip again.
The whole idea of marathoning Nibbler was my idea. I mean, I was the first guy who actually tried it.
All right, welcome to the show one more time, Mr. Tomasaki. All right, everybody, let's get some.
Hey, Tom.
Well done.
All right. All right, well, and we have Heather Moon, right? Is it Heather Moon?
It is.
And husband. The second time we've had a husband and wife couple on the show. The first time was with, I can't remember who.
Probably Tim.
Yeah, Tim and Tina were the very first couple.
Really?
Yeah,
The two T's.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was really great. So we just thought we'd try to recreate the magic here with, Heather and Tom and Tim.
kind of uncomfortable.
Now get mad at each other. No.
I feel like we should invite Tina now, just because it's awkward for everybody. It's really... So I guess my first question is, how did you two meet?
Well, who? Us two, or them two, or this two, or?
Well, let me just rephrase the question. Mark and Brian, how did you two meet? I think the question is
candles.
Just for future reference in this interview, the questions will be directed at the guests.
Yes. I was out the shop. I was looking for some mosquito repellent, and I ran into Brian.
I don't want to confuse anybody, but just so you know, the questions will be directed at you. And Tim is our guest host down there. So
with me, that's not too hard to confuse me sometimes.
So I see they're dodging the question. So it must have been like in a bar.
No. It is a little bit of a dodge because you got to see your faces when we say this, though.
Oh. Just say you met through a friend. That's all you need to say.
I met my wife on MySpace, so how bad could it be? Come on.
We met at I was Tom's student.
Oh. Okay, well that seems fine. Everybody's an adult.
I've seen this episode of Dawson's Creek.
I thought it was Degrassi.
Actually, I've never seen Dawson's Creek. Has anybody seen Dawson's Creek? I haven't seen it.
But you're both professors now. I mean, look, it was made to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So awesome.
I really want to know more about this story, but we're just going to leave it for the imagination of our viewers.
That's probably good.
I love it. Okay, so can you tell me what school that was at?
No.
Okay.
At Washington State.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
He was, yeah.
All right. Well, let's backtrack to the beginning of the show. We mentioned a few things that you were involved with. Tell us about the Bozeman think tank.
Oh wow, I haven't thought about that in a long old time. You guys were talking earlier about long winters.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, right? Up in Bozeman, right?
Like whose idea was that?
Whose idea was that? I don't know. Bozeman think tank. That's actually Walter's. Walter came up with that phrase.
Oh.
Believe it or not, we never called ourselves that.
Walter Day, right? For everybody.
Day.
Walter Cronkite? Is that?
Walter Cronkite, yeah.
That one.
I've got an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just fell into this group of guys, an engineer, a physicist, me, and a computer scientist, and we just started hacking away at some of these games. And for some reason, somebody thought that was pretty cool and gave us a name. So.
Wow, that's great. So, what were like the core tasks of the think tank? What did you invent?
What did we invent? That's a good question. Actually, we were chasing ghosts, so to speak. No pun intended there. We come to realize that there was this place called Twin Galaxies, and it was somewhere in the middle of the country. And it was putting out high scores, and they would post these high scores that were better than ours. So we kept chasing these scores, and every time we thought we had a better score on Miss Pac-Man, for example, this new score would come on. We was like, what's going on? And so finally we wanted to beat everybody, right? And so we got a nice high score. Actually, I did in Great Falls, Montana one day. And finally, it was better than anything we'd seen them publish. And long story short, much later on, many months later, we realized that some of these scores were just false anyway. So we were chasing scores that weren't real, but
Oh my
it sort of
gosh.
drove us anyway.
That sounds like a whole show. That sounds like a lot of. There's a lot of that scoring stuff going on around here. I don't know. So Tim, let's talk. I want you to talk. I want you to ask Tom. Well, a little bit about. We played a few clips from Man vs. Snake. Why don't you guys cue us up with a few questions? Tim, cue us up with a few questions about Man vs. Snake for Tom, will you?
What was the deal with the ice in the elbow, Tom?
Oh.
We're jumping right into the deep stuff.
When I first marathoned, it was like Ben Bozeman, and I found that when I did that, it hurt my elbow for some reason. I don't know what it was, my style of play or something. And so the next time I was in Ottumwa, I just made sure and had ice around to keep it, I don't know, numb, because it hurt the first time. Bad.
It's tennis elbow. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You were young.
So that first marathon that you did in Ottumwa, was that your second marathon then? You did one in Bozeman, and then you did the one in Ottumwa?
Yeah.
Okay, so I walked in on your second game then.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Man vs. Snake 2, done.
The first game that I did, I actually called Walter one day and I said, "What's the highest video game score you've ever seen on any game?" And he didn't know. And so at the time we thought it was a Robotron score that was like 300 million or something. And so I said, well, I can beat that. I said, I'm gonna go for 1 billion points on Nibbler. It's gonna take me a couple of days, and the local arcade at the university there, they're all ready to do this for me. They actually had people on staff all night, or one person on staff overnight. And well, of course I didn't do it, but I got 838 in about 40 hours.
40 hours, 838 million on your first marathon attempt.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, it depicts Tim walking in with Western music. And Tomasaki is
liberty there.
Yeah, and Tomasaki and Tim's got his 2 6 guns on his side. And then Tom is playing Nibbler to the tune of 700 million. What was your high score at Ottumwa?
793.
Oh, a little shy of the 800.
Isn't it weird how you remember these things? It's like
yeah, some of that stuff just burns into memory, and you can't get rid of it no matter how much you try.
What's great is I just expected an answer, so
it took me 7 years to beat Tom on that.
It took you what, Tim?
It took me 7 attempts to beat Tom. One of my early attempts was 716 million, and I never beat Tom until I got the billion. So it took me 7 tries. Tom got those first 2 scores, the 838 and the 793, and I chased that 838 for 6 to 8 months or so before I finally got him. It took me a while. He set a really good score right out of the box.
That's it.
I tried about 5 times, Tim. So.
Well, if you did the 838 before you came to Ottumwa, that would have been just one, wouldn't it? Or did you do multiples out there?
I did several in
oh,
Iowa,
okay.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't actually meet on the movie.
No. We met back in the 80s. I mean, that's if we hadn't met, there wouldn't have been a movie.
No, but I mean, you didn't get to see each other in the movie. Did they film your segments separate?
Oh, yeah, we were separate. They never. None of the footage was ever with us in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
I didn't see Tom until the movie was out. They showed it in my hometown in Ottumwa. It was the year that I got inducted into the Hall of Fame down there, and Tom came back for that, and they did a screening in Ottumwa, and that was the first time I'd seen Tom since the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I sent you that picture earlier on Facebook, the one in Messenger with I had the red shirt on.
Yeah.
And it was Tom and I. That was the first time we'd met since the 80s.
Wow.
Tina took that picture right when we met down there that day.
Okay. And then flash forward to today, or recently, within the last few weeks or months, Tom, you just broke 1 billion? Is that right?
Oh, that was a little over a year ago.
A little over a year ago. Okay.
Yeah, getting closer to 2 now, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And were
Yeah,
you
Tom had a lot more fun than I did.
Were you present for that one, Tim?
I was. We were playing side by side, and the hope was that we'd both do it together. And I don't know if it was like a diagnosis necessarily, but I was told I had altitude sickness. I just could not stay out of the restroom. It was a pretty miserable experience on my side of things. But even when my game ended, I pulled the plug. I couldn't do it, and I stayed awake. I wanted to see Tom do it. I was happier to see him do it than when I did it, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing experience to, it was this thing I wanted to do for 25 or 35, I don't know how many years it is now. It's too long ago. And I finally got the chance, thanks to people like Dwayne Richard and Tim. It wouldn't have happened without them, and with Heather. And then, to top it all off, Tim got to be there, and Dwayne was there. And
that was awesome.
And other old gamers were there to see it, and that was just so amazing.
So, tell us about your relationship with the old gaming crew. I mean, obviously you met a bunch of people back in Ottumwa and doing the circuit and playing all these games. But what was it like to have this camaraderie with these guys that you didn't really know, and then suddenly you all have this thing in common?
Yeah, well, even today and back then, I was kind of I don't know, I was a little bit of a loner, and I was a little older, just a couple older than most of those guys. And so, I don't know, I kind of slipped out of that crowd pretty early, like right about the time I met Tim. That was kind of when I left the whole scene. So, it's probably not quite what you think it was.
And who do we have joining us tonight on the show with you?
This is Zion.
What's her name?
His name is Zion.
Zion.
Yeah. Zion, like wherever Neo lives in the Matrix.
Right.
Yeah.
See, perception can be a really weird thing. Like what Tom's talking about, he was kind of on his way out, but for me, he was. So I'm the local kid from Ottumwa. I don't have any records. I'm going down to Twin Galaxies. That's my local arcade. And every time I go down there, I never know who's going to be there. One time I walk in, I see Ben Gold over there playing Satan's Hollow. I see Billy Mitchell playing Donkey Kong. And I walk in, and the first time I ever see the game or hear the guy is there's Tom playing Nibbler. So in my eyes, from where I sat, Tom was like Billy Mitchell and Steve Harris and Ben Gold. And he was on that level the day I met him. So he was one of these, these hot dogs, these really superstar players that was coming from out of town, coming to, what they referenced as the Dodge City of video gaming back in the day. So here's Tom, and he's, when he's there, it's like, oh shit, Tomasaki's here. Check this out. Let's go watch Tom. And I don't think he had that perception of himself, because like I said, he's a really nice, humble guy. And that was the thing that probably attracted me to him the most was he was a humble guy, and he was nice to talk to. He didn't have an ego or an attitude. Some of those guys were like a little hard to approach, and Tom wasn't. He was very authentic.
I gotta believe
it was nice.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear. I also believe there has to be a little bit of like, if it was my hometown, I mean, Ottumwa is probably not that big, right? I don't remember what the population.
No, it's I think at the time it was about like 28,000, somewhere in there.
So not like a postage stamp, but pretty small for a town. And there's towns in Minnesota. There's like 800 people, or 4 in Emmaville. So, it's like, okay, they literally have a sign, Emmaville population 4 or whatever it is. It's like, who's doing the counting? Who spent the money on that sign anyway?
The U.S. Census does the counting.
So
at least at some point.
But I gotta believe that you're like walking into the arcade going, well, these guys are probably just in a part of town that I don't know where they are. You didn't see them at school or anything. So how'd you find out? How did you guys? Well, obviously, Tom, you were visiting. So at the time, where did you live?
While I was visiting?
In Ottumwa, right? You would visit Ottumwa. So where were you from?
I stayed sometime. Where are you from? Bozeman. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that was right around the same time as the Bozeman think tank.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so the attempt for 1 billion points, where did you do that? When did you do that? And how long did it take you?
The first time?
Yeah.
Oh, this time when I did it? Wait, which time?
The first time you did it, where were you?
Yeah, I was in Bozeman.
Okay.
I did it at the Student Union Building at Montana State University.
In what year?
May of 1983, I guess. Yeah.
All right. And then you just did it again a year ago.
No, well, I've only gotten the billion once, and that was a year and a half ago.
And that was when, where, and
that
how
was
long?
A year and a half ago in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And how long did it take you?
Well, not 38 hours, I think.
37 hours and 50-some seconds. Yeah.
37 hours.
I learned something in those, decades in between. I learned how to score faster, thanks to Tim and people like Tim.
Yeah. It definitely helps. More points, you can get off that thing quicker.
And I know Tim's opinion of the bit kit, but that's what was available at Grinkfest last week. Tom? You need a bit kit, don't you?
Yeah, I kind of do.
You can plug it right into one of those with the 16-1 boards.
Yeah, I have a nibbler board too that we can plug in here, but the sound went out, and I'm not sure why.
What do you think of the bit kit?
What'd you think? Yeah, I mean, was it comparable?
Any differences or?
Oh, I don't have a bit kit. Sorry.
No, that's what you were playing at Grinkfest when you were there playing at Grinkfest. That was a bit kit.
That was it. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That tells
Surprise!
You didn't even realize.
You know what? There's these certain mazes where you have to clear the bottom first and then the top.
Yeah.
Because there's only one way to get through from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
And the snake never gets too long. It always seems a little bit shorter than on my game.
Well, that's not possible unless the setting was different.
Well, there's 3 versions of the software, so
there's different ROM sets.
Yeah.
Right.
If you play the Olympia ROM set, it's faster, and the snake gets longer. Half of my patterns won't work on that set.
Wow.
So I've got to and you only get a free life every 8 waves instead of every 4. So it's a new challenge. I can't get a real high score on that one yet.
Well, somebody got 198 million
on that one.
But I guess. But you're asking about the bit kit, and I didn't even know it was there. So
yeah.
But
there you go.
We did notice that the snake didn't get very long. That's why that guy got 180-something million.
I bet there was a different setting. There's like 6 different versions of Nibbler on there.
Yeah, not sure which one they set up to play. Why do they call that the Olympia chipset? Who is Olympia?
I forget the backstory behind that. It was a distribution of the game, though. It was the cabinet was a different color. It was a black machine. It was just really funky. It had a lot of bright colors on it, orange and yellow. And I don't remember if Olympia was the actual distributor, but it was some kind of a deal where it wasn't, just a regular Rockola version. Somebody else licensed it or something.
Oh wow!
It was Olympia. They decided that it was too easy, so they amped it up.
Well, that was Tom and I's fault. We kind of that's too easy. These guys can play it for days. We got to do something.
The rest of us can't get past level 1 practically, and you guys are making the game harder for the rest of us. That's awesome.
I know. Yeah. You're welcome.
I think I've made it to level 4. I'm that good. I am that good. So,
nice.
Sooner or later, I'll be, spending 12 hours. I'm pretty sure I will, at some point.
I got a question.
Put the time in.
Sitting right here. Dwayne's talked to me a couple times about trying to put together, like how they have the Kong off of all the Kong players coming together. He was talking about trying to do something. He called it a nibble off, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested in the concept, but if you call it a nibble off, I'm not going. Come up with something more original. Come up with something better.
Nibble this.
Nibble this. He said that too, actually. So if they had something like that, would you be interested? Would you ever play it again for that length? Or are you kind of done with the game since you completed your goal?
No, I could do that just for the camaraderie. That'd be great. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun, just to be there, whether I got first, last, or anywhere in between. I think it'd be fun, like the Santa Fe event. That was awesome. Everything about that event was first class. Score Wars, I loved it. I'd love to do an event like that again.
It'd be really easy with the BitKit too, because everything would be reliable.
Level playing field and stable equipment. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Oh yeah, like Tom's board almost overheated during that billion points. We had to pull out the machine while he was playing and to put a fan on it.
Yeah.
Somewhere past 950 million too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always right there as you're getting down to it.
What did it start to do?
It started like making weird noises. You know, the usual.
It's like the sound was broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just getting ready to do something bad. Yeah.
And I just like texted the people in Meow Wolf, and I was like, "Something's wrong. We need
help.
this cooled off or something." And they were on it. He was playing, and they were pulling the cabinet away from the wall. It was like, "Oh my god!" Trying not to unplug it while they're moving a fan.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There was some of that going on in the movie too. With,
Yeah. Had my share of that. If it could happen, it's happened to me or it's happened to Tom. It's happened to one of us, I swear.
Hey, so Tom, I want to ask a question we usually ask guests. As a youth, what were the circumstances that actually got you hooked on video games? Like, what was the scenario initially?
Well, the way I tell it, I remember playing Pac-Man for the first time and being very unimpressed, actually. And then, but later on, I don't know, it was just something that these games were just sitting around in different places, in bars and stores and restaurants and whatnot, and in arcades. And there was a lot to just have some fun. But Miss Pac-Man caught my eye, and then it was just a way to exercise my scientific muscles, I guess, because I don't look at these things as entertainment all the time. I have to dissect. It's like this entire universe in a box. I can only tell what's going on by experimenting with it, and that's the scientist in me. And it's hard to set that down. Yeah.
So, did you end up being in any sort of program? Did you do any programming? Did you reverse engineer anything, or?
No, I wasn't a programmer at the time.
Yeah.
It was just not a giant, it was just an experiment to me, something I could probe and learn about.
Sure, yeah.
And that's
really that's kind of cool. So then you became a scientist.
Yeah, I sure did.
At Los Alamos, what?
There's the National Lab.
Oh, Los Alamos National Laboratory?
Yeah, that part wasn't written in the show notes, so I just said Los Alamos place.
Well, that's what it says on the website, sir.
Yep.
Los Alamos. When you say Los Alamos, everybody knows.
Yeah, but I was a scientist in Texas, somewhere in Texas. That's awesome. So, what kinds of things did you science? What did you science the shit out of back then?
Wow.
Well, I didn't get to go to Mars, no, but well, I did. What did I do? I did acoustic non-destructive testing of inertial confinement fusion targets.
That sounds
it's easy for you to say.
Yeah, I did that last week, and it was very painful.
So one of the big things on the government's plate is try to get fusion energy working instead of other fission clear energy. It's cleaner, it's nicer, it solves all our problems, but it's really difficult. And I had a tiny little piece in trying to get that working. So,
well, I'm glad you didn't blow anything up.
Yeah.
No, that's Tim McVeigh's job, not Tom's.
That's right.
So you decided that you didn't want to do that anymore, or something happened where you became a professor of mathematics and physics at Washington State.
I got really interested in interpreting data and related things, and that led to sort of me learning a lot of mathematics. And eventually, I wanted to be closer to the students again, and so I left. for an academic position.
Excellent.
They, like there are like still people like.
I was gonna make a crack about getting closer to students, but I think I'll leave
I
it.
know.
And I saw you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, they said that, how did we meet? Then you just said that you wanted to get closer to them.
Mother's like, why you gotta bust this out?
It worked.
And it worked. She says
Success.
it worked. Success.
The experiment was successful.
I love it when a plan comes together like that.
Yeah. I went to school to get closer to professors.
There you go.
Me too.
That's totally not.
There's a great love story here for another day, right?
Yeah.
So, Tom, one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting is you were talking about like calling Walter on the phone and talking about scores and things like that. And then back in the 80s, obviously the communication and how you got to know and meet these people was really different than today. And I mean, we're sitting here on a video call that wouldn't have even been possible back then. Like, how do you see over time kind of that connection with other people playing the games changing? And what do you think are the good and bad sides of like kind of arcade gaming and people interacting through time?
Oh my gosh, that's a gigantic question.
Huge question.
Brian is also a doctor, and not just on TV.
He cuts into people.
Yeah, well, it was totally different back then. Even like my sons, I'm constantly telling them about the days of no internet, right? And
the horrors.
No phones. I mean, the communication was. I mean, we actually wrote letters, right?
Yep.
I wrote letters to other gamers, right?
Wow, you're really
the things
old.
You stick in the mailbox, those things.
Wow, you're really old. Not like the rest of us.
I didn't do letters. I'm sorry. I wasn't that sociable.
I still have some of these letters from people like Chris Ira and Darren Harris.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh man,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Can I have them?
No.
What? I just want to read them.
If we actually wanted to, meet up, there was. I mean, it was a big deal to try and meet up to actually do things, like we're doing right now. We actually had to be in the same room, right? But
yeah.
I would take bus rides to go to places to meet people. And we'd sort of meet halfway or meet in Iowa or something like that. And that's why it took me 7 years to get my undergraduate degree. So, because I was always doing weird things like that.
Took me 8.5, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm still working on mine.
It was really cool to go to Grinkfest and just be in that whole arcade atmosphere again.
That was fun.
And I didn't know a lot of people there, just a few, but because modern gamers are a different breed than they were back then. But it was I don't know, it was a little bit of a sensory overload just to be in that dark arcade again with all the lights and the 80s music playing, and it was it was cool. Fun. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
So, when you walked into Grinkers for the first time, well, if you had one word to describe it, what would it be?
I know. I feel the same way.
Brian, go.
I don't know.
I've never been.
Step out for just a second. I'll be right back.
I've never been to Grinkers.
Yeah, I know. I was just putting you on the spot.
Sad.
I was thinking radical.
Yeah.
Radical. That's good. Yeah.
That's a good word.
Really radical. Yeah.
It felt like it felt like an arcade from a long time ago. It really did.
It did.
It was perfect, right? Perfect done. Right?
There it is. That's perfect.
Yeah, Steve is a curator who is very careful about what he lets in there. And it's not just a matter of, I just happen to have this game, I'm going to throw it in the arcade. He has a ton of games he will not let in there because it's just not right. It doesn't fit.
Yeah. I was really happy to see, all of the games that I don't know if it's all, but almost all the games at least were in really good shape.
Yeah.
And I mean, even down to the fact that you're paying 20 cents and there's a change machine sitting there, right? It's all there, right?
Yeah.
All the pieces are there.
Yeah. It was just like the hair was not big enough.
Yeah.
That was the only problem I saw the whole time we were there. Yeah.
And I'm
like my shoes kept falling.
And I'm reminded of Joan Cusack's line from Grosse Point Blank, where she says she's going to her reunion, and she says, "I went to my 10-year reunion. It was as if everybody had swelled."
Went to my 30 and it was as if everybody had melted. So
right. The physicality is, it's like, wait, why am I in this arcade with all these old perverts?
Oh.
The guys that you try to avoid in the arcade, that's us now.
Is it? Oh man.
Yeah, no,
I had never been to Grinkers before either. That was my first time there, even though I live only 6 hours away.
Right.
And the only reason I was there is because Dwayne Richard called me, or he texted me and said, "Hey, I'm going to Grinkfest." I said, "Oh, I'm not doing much this weekend. Maybe I'll go too," right? And so that was spur of the moment things.
Love it.
The only person from long ago that sort of kept in touch with me is, well, of course, Walter did. Yes. Walter's always kind of known where to find me. But Dwayne Richard is the other guy who is always hanging around at some point. Yeah.
No, I don't remember seeing Dwayne. Was he only there for like a day, or?
Dwayne was there for about 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. He had to get back home. He had to drive about 24 hours to get home.
Oh my!
Sing karaoke. So.
I think he won the BitKit challenge or second place or something, didn't he? And he wasn't there, or was that another guy?
What was the challenge?
No.
Five games that are on the BitKit.
Yeah.
So you actually got to use the. I think they actually were all on original hardware. So Nibbler actually wasn't in the challenge, since that one's using the kit.
I mean, what was the? Okay, so you said it was a contest. What did the winner get?
A pat on the back and a hearty hi-ho. Actually, they had free bit kits for the winners and very nice awards, with, like backlit, real cool things. I don't know how to describe them, but, and you got to pick from the prize pool, which Adam, by the way, he submitted a Raspberry Pi complete with power supply and all these things. And, so the winners all got to look, and one of them decided to take it. But we were great. It was great that we were able to sponsor. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, Mark brought a 16-1. What else you bring?
I brought a Wi-Fi enabled power outlet, which allows you basically to control anything with Alexa or Google or Hey Google.
Yeah, and the Pi that I brought was a 4 gig. So it was one of the new ones with a case and a power supply and a cable and everything you need except for a keyboard and a mouse.
Right. I could have donated 60 pounds of creamed corn.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
Yes, you could have.
Why are we always talking about creamed corn? I'm a little confused here, but
a little throwback to you guys, sitting there harassing my Alexa last show.
Oh yes, Alexa, please order 50 pounds of creamed corn. Got headphones on. That's why Brian did not have headphones on that day, and we were controlling his Alexa from.
Oh wow!
So I quickly got them on, but that was a.
Right now, all of the listeners are turning it off because my shopping cart has 60 pounds of cream corn.
That's just too funny.
Alexa, order prophylactics.
You want something that for sure she won't even question, are you sure you want to do this? One of those things. So.
Alexa, order 10 pounds of creamed, I don't know, something.
Cream
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah, yeah. I got to think of something good, like 10
Cream
pounds
corn.
of Jello. Jello. Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Cream Jello.
Cream Jello. Yeah.
S150 says, no more Alexa talk. Mine's going bonkers.
There's some good suggestions in the
like,
chat
hey,
right
Siri, if that would trigger anything.
now. Yeah, hey Siri. You can tell I have both Google and Alexa in the house, and I can tell Google to talk to Alexa, and she will. It's pretty funny.
So can they have a conversation without you?
Well, Alexa will answer, but you can't ask Alexa to talk to Google. She just doesn't know who Google is.
She's not into it.
Yeah, she's.
I unplugged it. He says
she's super narcissistic and. Yeah.
So Tom, I got a question. I don't remember if I asked you or if I know the answer. So you're out in Montana and you're going to school at the time when you first started doing the Nibbler and the Miss Pac-Man. How did you find Twin Galaxies? I mean, Tumwa, Iowa is not the biggest place on the planet like we talked about earlier. So what brought it up on your radar?
I heard it third hand. I have no idea exactly, but the guy named Matt Brass from
Space Invaders.
Montana. What's that?
He did Space Invaders. He was out there for the Life magazine. That's okay.
Okay, Matt Brass came back up through Bozeman on the way home and talked to Spencer. And
okay.
Yeah, that's how we found out. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I don't think I ever asked you. I was kind of curious because, if I hadn't been there, I would have never heard of it. Nobody would have heard of me. Just that was my hometown, and I guess you made the mistake of coming to Ottumwa. Otherwise, nobody knows who I am except for the Oklahoma Bomber.
Whoops.
Whenever I bring your name up, I always say, no, not that, Tim McVeigh. So that's an interesting question. I was wondering then, how did the whole man versus snake thing come up? So did they who got approached first? And how did Tom, how did you get dragged into that whole thing?
Well, they approached Tim first, right? Long before they found me, because I was hiding.
So the way I was told the story was Tim and Andy, the guys that did the project, they're producers on Battlestar Galactica, editors maybe, I'm not sure the exact title, but they were working on Battlestar Galactica, and they snuck a MAME cab into their studio, and they were just like literally going down the alphabet, starting at the top, going down through all the games, just having friendly little comps on stuff. And I don't remember who got the high score between the two of them, but I think they said their high score was like 400,000. And they're like, wow, this is a really high score, 400,000. And they said, I wonder what the world record. One of them said, well, I wonder what the world record on this is. So the next day, one of them come into work, and they had the Tim McVeigh billion point Tim McVeigh Day thing stuck on the door of his office. And he's like, that's not real. Nobody got 1 billion points on that. And it said Twin Galaxies on the poster. So they look up Twin Galaxies, and they contact Walter, and they start talking to Walter. And Walter's like, well, yeah, he did it in my arcade. I saw Tim do it. And well, do you know how to get a hold of Tim? And of course he did. Walter, I don't think ever loses anybody's contacts. So he got a hold of me and asked if it was okay to pass my information on. I said, sure, go for it. And I didn't hear from him for, 6 months. By the time they called me, I forgot about it. I'm like, you're who? What are you calling for? I thought it was a prank call. So the first time they come out and they interview me, I don't know if Walter had mentioned Tom or anybody else at that point, or what they'd really talked about with Walter, but I started telling them about everybody. I told them, Tom was the whole inspiration for it. He was the one that started the Billion Point Quest, and I mentioned Tom, and I mentioned that Billy was there because they were familiar with King of Kong, and I mentioned that Billy was actually there the weekend that I got it, and I talked about Dwayne the last couple of years. He'd been playing a little bit, trying to get the score, and when they first talked to me about doing it, it's supposed to be like a 10, 15-minute short form, straight to YouTube, just a small documentary. And then it just blew up. They started talking to all these guys. And I was amazed when they tracked Tom down, because I hadn't talked to him for years. And I had no idea, where he was or how to contact him, or I would have made the effort. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. And then, they got Enrico from Italy, and just
so Tom,
craziness.
What was it like getting that call for you?
Yeah, well, Let's see. It's kind of like Enrico said in the movie. It's like he does this whole past life, it's over kind of thing. I had sort of done that and walked away from everything. But Walter, every once in a while, Walter would call me or find me and ask me something or just talk to me. And so I'm sort of expect these sorts of things to come up about once a year. And so I get this email from Tim or Andy. I don't even remember which now. And at first I thought, I'm not really sure what this is, right? Yeah, I'm that guy, but why are you talking to me? We talked for a while on the phone after that, and they're like, we're going to come up there and interview you. Okay, if you want to.
Okay.
I had no idea really what they were doing. All I knew is they were doing something with, the whole Nibbler story. And so they came up, spent a whole day with me, and they even got to see me play Miss Pac-Man too.
So that's are you are talking about doing a Mrs. Pac-Man marathon, or is that not really a marathon game because that ends, right? So
right.
Yeah. So
I guess you could technically marathon it. I mean, I have the ability to marathon it, but that's sort of not in the spirit of marathoning, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, Miss Pac-Man ends. There's an end at board approximately, depending on your game, 133 or so.
Okay.
So how or why does it end? Is it like the split screen on Pac-Man, or is there some other thing that causes the end?
Yeah, it's something like that. There's just a last board that
runs out of memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it before? I mean, have you gotten to that?
I've never gotten there. That's why I want to do it. I've seen it before, but only once or twice. I did see it. Darren, not Darren. Who was in Santa Fe? Who was in Santa Fe playing Miss Pac-Man? He did it.
I didn't notice anybody playing Miss Pac-Man in Santa Fe.
He was right next to Tom.
Oh, that's shameful. That I don't remember. I mean, he's famous, right? Abner Ashman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Duh.
So
I remember now you said it.
Yes, to see him do it. That was cool. Yeah.
So I guess I've seen the Pac-Man split screen. I know what it looks like. I remember it. I've hit that myself. And then Donkey Kong, the kill screen, you see him just die. What does Miss Pac-Man do? What is the end? I mean, what?
Well, I understand just from talking to these guys that there's a variety of different possibilities, and you can get as many as 8 more boards than the next guy to play the game, and so it's all kind of weird. But usually there's an upside down board at the end, and then there's just not enough stuff to clear, and you die. So
okay, so essentially a kill screen of its own.
Yeah, it's a kill screen, but you don't quite know when it's going to occur. Yeah.
Interesting.
Really weird.
I would never get good at that one to try it. Pac-Man, once you could get to the key stage, you just had to have a pattern and patience after that. I split screened that back in the day at Twin Galaxies, and I never even submitted the score because it was only like, I don't know, 8th place or something. It wasn't a perfect game. I mean, that hadn't even been on our radar yet.
Yep.
I think Billy and Chris had been playing, and they kind of surmised that if you could run through the language side of the screen and eat enough dots and get a total that equaled what was normally on the maze, they thought that there was a way to advance past it. So we would play up to the split screen, and then they kept going through the garbage on the right side trying to find more dots. And every once in a while they'd hit one, and oh look, there was one. We got more points, and that's all we ever thought about. Nobody ever really thought of a perfect game at that point that I know of. They were just trying to figure out how the hell do you get past that screen, because there was claimed scores of 13 million, and so there's like, well, somebody got 13 million. Why can't we get past this board? And that's what we did back there. And that's all the farther we went with it back in the day, back in the 80s.
Interesting. So Don Hodges has an analyzing sort of article called The Bride of Kill Screen, and it's on donhodges.com, and he talks about how to fix the kill screen that's in Miss Pac-Man, and he does a really good breakdown of what memory addresses are involved and things like that. And what's funny about it is that it is not consistent. There are some times where I think it's screen 134 where there's a bug, and sometimes the game will end, but sometimes it won't end and it'll continue. And he tries to figure out why that happened. It's great. He posted this about I would say about 12 years ago, but he made an update a couple of years ago when he discovered something different about the actual kill screen that happens at the 256th level. Looks pretty much like the Pac-Man kill screen, but it behaves a little bit differently because, General, what was the name of them? GCC. They made that mod. I mean, it's still the problem based on the original Pac-Man software, but it just seems to be harder to get to. I don't know.
I hope they never get rid of this. I hope these sort of games in their original state survive.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Oh yeah.
They will because of ROM dumps.
Yeah, it's not like we can't see the original version of Star Wars because George Lucas screwed it up. At least with code, you've got the original code.
Hey, I've got the VHS if you really want to see it.
I have a bootleg of Star Wars that doesn't show Episode 4.
I've got the DVD.
Don't tell the police.
I've got the special edition DVDs that included the originals as extras.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're Laserdisc dumps, so they're okay. But, okay, I have a question for you. We've talked a lot about Nibbler, Miss Pac-Man. What are actually some of your favorite games?
Yeah.
It might not be Nibbler. I mean, Nibbler sounds like a chore to me.
Yeah, like top 5 of whatever.
I don't play many games actually, so I always have to say Miss Pac-Man.
All right.
Believe it or not. And despite what I'm sort of partially quoted as saying in the movie, I like Nibbler. It's just different. It's a completely different, mindset that you need to play this game, right? It's a totally different game. After that, I don't know. I mess around with all kinds of stuff. Back in the day, as Rick would say, back in the day, one game that caught my attention is something that you never hear of. Was a game called Zizix.
Zizix.
And I've never seen it again. And but I really admired the people who could play things like Stargate and Robotron. I love those games, but I'm not good at them at all. I should be.
Well, yeah, that's okay. We don't care if you're good at it.
One of my old favorites that I never see anymore, I don't know if you remember it, Tom. I enjoyed playing it a lot at Twin Galaxies, was Omega Race. And I don't think from back then until now, I don't think I've seen a working Omega Race anywhere.
Was there one at Grinkers?
Yeah, there was. It was a sit-down.
Totally. Nice.
Cockpit. Yep. Yeah. Cockpit.
Shit, I need to get out there. I'd love to play that again.
Hey, you should come visit us and we'll drive over there. 6-hour drive from here. But...
Oh, man,
6 hours is pretty tolerable.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Or Tim, you can come up to our place on the 9th of November. We're having a party. I've got a cockpit sitting one room away.
Oh, twisting the arm, are you?
Oh my God.
Can they crash on your sofa or?
Yeah. I'm feeling a couple people will be that night. There's a couple sofas though.
Nice.
Might have to talk to Tina about that. I'd love to.
So Tom, is there a game that you ever played that you just started playing and thought this is terrible?
Besides Nibbler.
Gosh, I don't know if I remember those. This is terrible. Well, I can probably count on 2 hands the number of times I played Pac-Man. I'm just not impressed.
Too repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, where's the challenge?
Right.
Especially once you get to the keys, it's just time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like a game like Pole Position?
So Pole Position, well, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, I guess.
It is not, but I'm curious how you react to it. That's
I played a few times.
Turns out the car in that game is red.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that question was wrong?
No, I got it wrong. I said yellow.
Yeah, there was well, I don't know. Did you stick around for the The awards
Yes.
ceremony? Oh, you did.
Oh no, we didn't catch that.
Oh. Yeah, Adam got to go up and participate in a Starcade-like trivia contest,
Oh, cool.
which he completely bombed, but he looked really good. So.
Well, see, the helmet of the guy driving the car is yellow.
Yeah. They were like, what color is the car? He goes, it's yellow. And they're like, no.
But it's actually orange anyways, so they were wrong.
I had a friend in the audience that was like flashing the answers to me, so I sort of had like a...
He was helping me too, but I wasn't paying attention.
No, you should have.
I was having more fun getting the answers wrong.
Xevious is awesome. I don't know why you don't want to say Xevious. I'm talking about the chat, sorry. I see somebody in the chat. I don't know. Don't say Xevious. Don't say Xevious.
I love Xevious. I still can't get past the boss level.
Xevious is my older boy's game.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I find that game dull. It's like 1943 is the pinnacle of Xevious. Because it has all the power-ups. It's interesting. You do flips. There's lightning. Xevious, you're just flying around as the dun, 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 dun. And what's a Savaloo anyway? What the heck is a Savaloo?
That's a good point.
I'm going to Google that.
Yeah. How many of those Zavaloos do you have left anyway? It just makes me angry.
Now I know what game to buy Adam for Christmas.
Oh, you were gonna buy me a game?
Zaxxon and a Xevious.
Oh, God.
In the driveway.
Zaxxon. Yeah.
I think he likes Galaga and Galaxian
Yeah,
too.
Galaga. Zaxxon has a boat anchor, maybe.
Super
I put a lot of
Zaxxon.
quarters into Zaxxon one. Back
Yeah,
then.
well, everybody did. That's the problem. It's like you can't win. You can't. It's isometric 3D madness is
You
not
move
good.
up, it goes there. And
It's worse than Cubert. But I kind of
Nothing's
like
worse than Cubert. That kicker in Cubert. Oh, Jesus. I don't ever want to hear that thing again.
Cubert is okay. Zaxxon and Congo Bongo, they should just those cabinets.
Erase them?
Yeah, they're good for firewood, you know.
I like Congo Bongo, but that game would instill a little bit of rage in me every once in a while.
My mom, my mom plays it, and she gets mad at me when she plays it. She's like, "This is stupid."
Mad at you?
Yeah, she's like, "Why did you suggest this?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
So, Randy Gelking in the chat looked up Solvaloo and said, "Sol is sun and Valoo is flight." So it's Sunflight. So next time you play Xevious, you can say, "How many Sunflights do you have left?"
Still doesn't make any better sense.
Nice.
No.
Maybe something's lost in translation.
All right. Well, I want to thank you two for being on our season 4 premiere. This has been a lot of fun.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
It has been fun.
It was fun.
And Tim, thanks for joining as guest host and helping us along with a little trivia about Man vs. Snake again.
Anytime. I love being on here with you guys.
And that's gonna kind of wrap it up for tonight, I think. So we gotta play the outro music now and stuff.
Right, it's time to say the end of the show stuff.
Oh yeah,
wink, wink, Brian.
Yeah,
Adam, wink, wink to me. Is Adam doing it this time?
He's awake right now. Look.
That doesn't show up on the thing, I don't think.
No.
That's pretty funny. Okay, well, anyway, thanks for listening in on the Double R's. It's Arcade Radio.
Like us at Facebook, facebook.com RcadeRadio, or check us out on the semi-regularly updated blog at RcadeRadio.com. That's RcadeRadio.com.
Thanks for spelling that out. Call and leave comments and questions on the game line. 612-548-GAME or 4263 if you can't spell.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell so you know when we're streaming live.
Ding.
You can also subscribe to our podcast on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Music Player, whatever.
Yeah. So that's going to be it for the show from the Arcade Radio team. We hope you had a great time, and we'll see you in the next episode. This is the part where we dance.
Oh, yeah.
Keep your clothes on this time.
Never again.
What? Oh, my gosh.
I missed
Mark
that
doesn't have
job.
the crotch light tonight, so.
Nope.
No crotch light?
Nope.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
all natural.
Oh, jeez. They're throwing some Minnesotan. Oh, jeez. Hey, check out this.
Ooh, nice shot.
Check out this jersey Davelope made.
Very danceable. Last name here.
I appreciate that. That's a fun prop for the show.
Wear mine next week. I'm going to be on the next Arcade Hangouts, so.
Oh, cool.
I'll wear our jersey that day.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm gonna fade this thing out, and we can just
And then get that dial tone going.
Oh yeah, we have a dial tone song right here.
Oh,
Oh, is that it?
hello.